Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including The Promised Neverland, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Andy Potter.
Hello.
April Collins.
Hello.
And Steve Zeck.
Hello.
Yes, it's time for more The Promised Neverland. We got a big one here this week, episode 8 of The Promised Neverland, 2/11/45. Watch it if you have not. Actual big spoiler. I mean, the show always has big spoilers, so make sure you've seen all 8 episodes of The Promised Neverland. We're covering the show, not the manga. We don't know manga spoilers. Steve has read the manga of the people on this podcast. The rest of us have not. Don't put
dead to us.
Don't put spoilers in the comments of the websites.
Even if any of us nails guesses something right, don't confirm that we guessed something right.
Don't confirm either. Yeah, no, people have been great in the comments. But also overlyanimated.com, youtube.com/overlyanimated. Subscribe to our anime feed or our YouTube to not miss future Promised Neverland podcasts. Okay, we got to get into this huge episode. Andy, what were your reactions to this episode?
Wow, a lot happened this episode. I thought the big thing in this episode was Crone dying, which was insane. That scene was crazy, tense, and the flashbacks were very surprisingly emotional, and I really liked the way it was juxtaposed with them eating dinner. That was really messed up, the kids shoving food in their mouth and Crone getting essentially eaten by a demon. But then we get the next half of the episode, and they really slow rolled how creepy Isabella is, because she is so scary this episode. Every moment she is on screen, I am terrified, and every moment she's not on screen, I'm terrified she's watching from just off screen. It's crazy. And that snap, I was shocked by the snap before I even realized what it was, that it was Emma's leg. I was just, it was crazy how loud it was. I don't know where they're going from here, but they have taken a turn, and I am right there, waiting to see how this goes. I am really excited about next week.
Yes, the hype is on. I think the playing pretend is over, and the big Isabella breakout episode. I love that how comments on how scary she is at all times there. April, what did you think of this episode?
Okay, so there was a lot of feelings, because when I first watched this episode, I was so caught up in it, and at the end of it, I was like, I didn't watch that. None of that happened. It wasn't real. I screamed when Isabella snapped Emma's leg. And, I thought the whole, the Crone part of it was, the episode. And then it kept going on. And I was like, oh, no, there's still things to take place. Where do you go from here? And so I was, already hyped from, all of the Crone scenes, which I think that was all very, very well done. I loved the sort of, sequencing between the children eating, and then Crone sort of fighting off the demon, and then the sort of visual story of Crone training to become a mother or become a sister or whatever it is. I thought that was all super well done. And then goodness gracious, Isabella, I love how much you horrify me. I'm hats off to people who did all of the character work and everything, because it's all of those little subtle things, and the way she talked and moved and looked, that just added to the horror factor of this. And I have no idea what's going to happen anymore, because I thought we were only shipping out kids, but apparently we're shipping out adults too. So here we are, and I cannot wait for next week's episode. I just can't. I need it now.
Are they going to eat Crone? I guess they might.
I guess they are.
I feel like that's a waste of food.
Yeah.
Just give it to the poor.
People aren't food, April.
In this show, they are.
Yeah, they clearly
are. That's what April's mad about. They're wasting food, not that someone's dead.
Yeah.
If they don't want to eat Crone, they just give it to those demons from the first episode.
Yeah, that's true. We did see the poor demons. Yeah. We'll discuss. We see 2 demons, so I don't discuss who they are. But okay, Steve, what were your reactions here?
Wow. Well, the Isabella show is on the air. I was shocked though how just scary Isabella can be, and how pretty much she was 10 steps ahead of everybody. Can I just say I want to compare it to one character? Should I just do it now or later?
Let's save it. Okay.
I'll save it for later. But I tell you though, I did when Crone was in that area when she got killed. I thought for a second, I knew she was going to die, but I thought she was going to die a different way. I thought maybe that fence was just going to fall, just impale her alive. It's going to fall on her. You know that fence.
She was up against a
yes,
gate,
I thought she was just going to get stabbed to death through the fence. They're going to stab her right through the torso.
I mean, I don't think any of us predicted death by flower stabbing.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Wow, flower power. You know what they said. Who said
Flower power.
But Isabella, though, she could be one of my favorite villains. After like certain other shows we're watching with certain villains, like I won't mention names, like a show about a dragon, which has sort of a villain we kind of don't care. He's not too good, but Isabella makes up for it. So yeah,
okay,
Isabella.
That's a weird comment. Isabella makes up for Viren, but okay.
They're
sure.
not the same show.
Yeah.
I thought you compare her to Croy from.
No. That's not a character I want to compare her to. I want to compare her to. Croy's a good comparison too, but I was thinking more of Azula. It's book 2 Azula, how she was like she's one step ahead of everybody.
That's I could see that a little bit. Yeah, she does seem to be Isabel. It's like okay, originally she seemed like a huge threat, and then I feel like slowly she dropped off our radar a little bit. It's like okay, we found her secret room. We we have Rey, and Rey's tricking her, and it's like okay, she's not maybe Crone's more of a threat, maybe it's the demons outside, but here it's like oh okay, we were underestimating Isabella a lot. I think at this point she seems to be in control of basically everything that's happening.
This episode makes me like the last 6 episodes more because it feels like they were just purposely downplaying so much just so they get this reaction out of this episode.
Yeah, I definitely think they're downplaying Isabella, and I think it's pretty brilliant. Yeah, it's because how do you get us to be surprised by Isabella being menacing, considering how after the first episode we were like, oh my god, Isabella, like mom, like what's up with her, like she's
mom.
This was our first episode podcast. We're like, oh, she's the most interesting character. She's so menacing, and then what they did is just a lot of work in slowly downplaying that over time, and the payoff is here when she comes back into the forefront. I do think it's really good. Yeah, I think this is like the third episode that's really stood out to me of this show, along with the first one and the traitor reveal episode. I think there's a lot. This is what I kind of want from Promised Neverland. I want a lot happening, and I want demons because we got some demons.
It's so many chapters were adapted this episode because as someone said, Isabel did a lot this episode, but if you read the manga week by week, she didn't really do much at a time. So there's one episode all crammed together. It's like a big binge.
Interesting that they combined a lot of chapters. Yeah, I could see that because it moves so fast, such fast pace. Yeah, it's like the Crone stuff is the first half of that. It's like, oh wow, there's half of an episode to get to.
But I like that a lot because it feels like they're willing to make changes so that the show works better in this medium.
Oh yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, I think I would say maybe that I haven't read the manga. My guess is that not that the show is ever bad, but the reason why the middle part of up until now was maybe a little bit weaker is because we're being too strictly adhering to the manga. Because I feel like we just jump around a lot in episodes. There's kind of too much happening, too much to take in. And it's like, oh, we're just going scene by scene through the manga. That's what it felt like.
Have I mentioned before that Crone's doll is anime only? Is not in the manga?
You did mention that. That's really interesting because they bake that into all the flashbacks here. That's this episode seems
really
carefully constructed for the show, which I love. I think the Crone parts of this episode are fantastic. I think the flashbacks while she's dying, they're really, really, I'm clearly going to love that stuff. The second half of the episode, I think, is a little bit less successful, but still really, I think it's more interesting than good. Like, I think it's like the breaking Emma's leg. I think it's like more interesting than it was. I don't know if it was necessarily a fantastic TV moment, but it was like, there's a lot to talk about coming from it. Last episode, I thought was good, but I was frustrated by how much hidden information there was. There's a lot that the show presented that we really don't understand. This episode maintains the same hidden information. However, it's not important. This episode does a better job of not frustrating me and therefore the audience with not knowing what Isabella's second weakness is, what the pen is. The pen is more of an Easter egg than it is a plot point. So I really like this show's always going to have things hidden from us, but I like how this episode handles it a lot better than previous ones.
This episode actually adds more hidden things, Dylan, because Crone puts that box inside Rey's.
The box as well.
As well as the pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still don't truly understand the pen.
I don't
We
either.
don't know. Yeah.
I wonder if the pen is sort of a Gale out of jail free card when he gets sent to the demons.
We'll speculate on the pen, but yeah, my reaction to last week's episode was, oh, she found the thing under she's looking for something under the bed, and it was the note with the second weakness. Is that the thing that Norman saw that made him trust Ray? Like that made me flash back to that. I was like, oh, that was hidden information too, and we even hit on that, and I just ended up being really confused, and I think it wasn't the greatest reaction, although I did like last week's episode. I think this episode is focused and successful in the specific stories that it's telling. You know, we have two segments. One is the Crone section. The next is the Isabella section, and we are not hopping around. And I think the show is a lot more successful for that.
You know, I kind of want interested to know what history, if Isabella has any real history with this grandma that we saw.
Yeah, we'll talk about grandma. Yeah.
I kind of wonder if she was like when Isabella was a girl, she was sort of like the Emma to her Isabella.
Yes, we'll get into grandma. I guess let's talk the Crone half of the episode first, because
okay.
Grandma is in there. And
yay, grandma!
Yay!
Yeah, we're excited to see our loving grandma here, right?
Yeah.
She mentioned
doing well.
She does seem to be doing well. Mentioned last episode. So the letter, we get the resolution to the letter at the end of last episode. It's saying that Crone is appointed the mom of Plant 4, but instead of being happy, she is upset at this, Crone. And I guess she was right, because it was a trap. Is that or was they gonna make her a mom and she reacted badly, so then they killed her? Or were they planning to kill her the entire time?
I wonder if Grandma told Isabella that Crone was going to Plant 4, because it seems like Grandma also has like this whole grand scheme of things kind of going on too. And so I sort of took it as that Grandma told Isabella that she, Crone's going to Plant 4, but Grandma all along intended to kill her.
I don't know. Isabella seemed like she knew Crone was a goner.
Isabella immediately after says to Ray, "I eliminated Crone." But that is a little bit of talk, because it seems to have been Grandma, right? Like it was Grandma's idea, or at least Grandma approved her plan. Maybe she pitched it to Grandma, and then Grandma approved it. It seems like she's playing it up a little bit, so it could be not true, but she at least knew what was happening. Isabella did. It seems like they're on the same page, but it's not clear if that page was to trick her all along. I guess it was. That's the implication.
The way I read it was that Grandma decided to kill her because she reported the kids. Because the whole thing that Isabella kept telling Crone was, don't get involved in this, just be the sister here, keeping track of the kids. And as soon as Crone gave her report on the kids escaping, that's when Grandma said, we knew about this, we're going to kill you now.
Right. So Isabella only says that she eliminated her. That could be eliminate her from the equation.
That's how I took that, is that I'm eliminating, and especially when she says it to Ray, and she says I've eliminated her, just like I'm and you too, meaning I have no more use for you. So I'm not using you as my pawn necessarily anymore.
Yeah, I think there's these are the two major readings. Either it's like you guys are saying, and Isabella thinks she got her shipped off to be a mom somewhere else, and then Grandma makes the executive decision to kill her when she tries to rat on Isabella, or they're both planning on tricking Crone and she was never going to be a mom.
Yeah.
I think the show doesn't give us enough to point at one or the other, but it's kind of the same thing either way.
I personally, I don't think Crone was mom material, if I be honest. She's just very too emotional, and if the job as a mom is to keep things to the vest, she's really not that very good of a chess player as Isabella is.
I think I want part of me wants to say what makes mom material. That's dumb, but I also had that thought, because Crone is very unhinged in the show, and I think this episode does convey that she wasn't always that way. She's very composed in the flashbacks. I think Crone flew off the handle recently because of this horrible situation that she's been in, and she like reached a breaking point. I think like she was a standout student, and like she had to have been in order to be selected as a mom, as we learned last week. So I think like for some reason she got this way after being kept like where is she pinned up until the show began, right? Like she held in a cell somewhere. Yeah.
And the way I saw it was, I think I saw a little bit of like almost jealousy towards the kids. Like she realized she missed her chance to be free, like they were, and that kind of, and like, because that was surprising to me that she seems to genuinely want them to escape. That surprised me based on the past character.
Well, I like that reading.
Well, not really. I think she's probably really mad. You know, Isabella and Grandma and the demons. She probably hates them more than the kids, so she probably wants to see them get theirs.
Well, and it could also be like a later realization thing. Like maybe in the moment that she was presented the opportunity to become like a mom, and to sort of save herself, she took it because, like, I mean, what kid really isn't gonna, you know, like, hey, you can die or you can become like, or you can continue to live, but you have to live under our rules. Like, I would take that if I was presented that deal. But then probably over time, after like continuously watching like all of these kids be shipped out and everything like that, like that takes a toll on someone. And so it sort of like makes sense that, you know, Crone would eventually end up crazy, or, you know, and then of course sort of want to side with the kids and like go ahead and escape kind of situation.
Yeah. So you guys have, this is interesting with this line when Crone gets stabbed, she says she wants, she's rooting for the kids to escape. Andy said, that, she maybe regrets not having tried that earlier. Steve said it was revenge on, she wants, revenge on Isabella. I think those are both valid readings. I had a third reading of that. Like, this is really interesting. I thought this was I thought this was like, the game is like, she's defeated. The game is over. The Game of Thrones political type game. And this is like the human profound statement of like, wow, we're really screwed by these demons. I really hope that for the future of humans and for our people to succeed. Like, it's like this grand statement that she's making about like the veil has been lifted and she was forced to play this game by the demons. And now that she's lost, truly underneath, they all want to be free and they all do not want to be under demons' control.
I can see that. Yeah, especially because like her final words are, you know, like, you like to play tag, so run and destroy this world. Yeah. So I can see it, like, I'm more so on your side, Dylan, than anything. Just that she just wants this hideous place to be done with.
Yeah, it's like she's the latest victim of whatever happened to these humans in this world, and I thought that was such a great way to end her character here, with like you know, there's so much maneuvering and zaniness with Crone, but underneath, you know, she I was gonna say she's just super sympathetic in the end, Underneath, she is just this human woman, and we saw her flashbacks her as a kid, and she's very human. Crone's very humanized in this episode, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, just me though. Because the last time we got a chance to talk about Crone, you think though you have the African American like black character have the title sister? Don't you think that might have been a little too?
We presented some criticisms of Crone's design and stuff, and I think all those still stand.
It probably wouldn't work if it was a Western show. I think maybe Japan had different stuff.
Japan with characters of color is not great, and I think this is an example. I do like that she was a complex character, and that has furthered this episode with these flashbacks of her. By the way, apparently Michelle has some thoughts on how the anime presented Crone, so we'll get those next week. So the discussion will continue. But yay! But yeah, okay. Continuing the scene. So she's going to Grandma at the gate. She gives her the note with Isabella's weakness on it, which we still do not know. So. Rule of like narrative, the more times you like present something in different narrative contexts that the audience is not aware of, the more frustrating it is. There better be a good reason that we're not seeing what Isabella's second weakness is.
Do you think that, well, I can't remember what her first weakness is, so.
I also don't know what that is.
I think the first weakness is that she has the thing, she can't leave the farm. She has the thing in her heart. That's the first weakness.
So would in like a sense her second weakness be later revealed by Isabella herself, is that she actually does love and care for the kids. Like maybe on other farms they don't, like maybe it's completely different. Like, it's not like this in any way, shape, or form. And so maybe it is literally more so like a farm. Like, the kids are locked up. Like, they're not like allowed to be free to run around. That maybe they're fed. I'm picturing on a literal farm, maybe adapted more so to accommodate humans. But like, maybe that's like Isabella's other weakness is that she actually does care for the kids, and because she produces, you know, these higher quality shipments, that's why she gets to continue on in that way.
That's possible. I don't think there's like a reveal at the end of the episode, like because she talks about that, and that's really interesting character moment. She's like, I actually do love you children, but I don't think that was like an intent of the show to be revealing that weakness. So I could definitely see it being related to that somehow.
I have no comment on that.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Steve knows what it is. So
I cannot. This time I cannot separate what I know and pretending I don't know, because I just can't. So
it's actually her. It's in her left thigh. If you hit it just right, then she's paralyzed.
I think Steve just confirmed this is Phil related. That's a Phil related.
Yeah. It's definitely Phil related.
Isabella's weakness is Phil. Phil is here. Phil is in the episode.
Phil's her actual child. Has a weakness.
Say what you want about Phil, though. I do think he's a little more adorable than Onion. So
no.
Phil is much better than Onion. Don't even.
I hate you, because every time Phil comes on screen now, I just get irrationally mad.
It's definitely Steve's fault. Yeah. Okay. So we don't need to talk about it. There's no reason to talk about Phil. He's been in every episode since we started talking about him.
I know. He was in this episode like twice.
He's been in every episode. He was in the very first episode. He just wasn't named
We
yet.
just didn't notice him. Now I guess it's a thing where you notice it now that you're aware of it.
Yeah, that's why I'm blaming Steve.
Yeah. Steve's fault.
Steve just messed everything up.
Okay. So the report with Isabel's week, she also says that the kids know about the secret and they're trying to escape, and then Grandma's like, well, you know, it's under control. So, and then we see a flashback with Grandma talking to a girl who's on top of the wall. That's my read on this. So my interpretation is Grandma was once a mom, and she had a similar situation where a kid was trying to escape, but she handled it or something. Maybe it was Isabella that was trying to escape. Maybe it was someone else, but yeah.
That would be really, I didn't even consider that. Maybe that child up on the wall was Isabella. And so maybe that's also why, like, Grandma has like the utmost confidence in Isabella, because she's like, look, if I could convince Isabella to stay, then somehow Isabella is going to convince these three children to stay, or at least handle the situation in such a way that like they don't have to worry about them actually escaping.
I had the same read that person on the wall was Isabella as well. Like, that was a flashback.
Why did I not catch this?
Well, so
I was still in shock.
I don't think it looked like Isabella. Like, that was just like, the most interesting thing would be if this was Isabella. I didn't think it looked like her, but it would be narratively very interesting.
Yeah. There was like glare and sunlight.
This flashback is like 3 seconds.
I got rewatch that.
Yeah, it's very kind of weird, randomly inserted, but I like it because it gives us context for Grandma. It heavily implies she was a mom. I think that's good, which I guess makes sense. And
like, you're a sister, then you become a mom, and then you're grandma.
Wow, your grandma, up the family. Yeah. She says it's under control, and Isabella's a necessary pawn for me. She says. So I thought this made sense. I bought this response from Grandma here. Like, what does it really matter if the kids know? Like, Isabella, we know that she was the highest producing farm. We know that she had the previous relationship established with Grandma. Crone, this kind of unhinged person, she's not going to come in and unseat that. Just with what she gave her. I think this checks out based on what we know.
Yeah.
I told you Crone's like the Starscream of this.
I have nothing to say to that.
I don't know what that means, but I assume it was Transformers.
Same.
It is Transformers. Dylan, it is Transformers. I
know it's Transformers, and that's about as much as I got out of it. I'm like, a Transformers reference. Got it.
I don't know 4 characters. I only know 4
No, stop. Okay. What do we think of Grandma here? So I'm like, is Grandma live with the demons? Like, is she one of the humans referenced last episode that actually does live outside the farms?
Well, this whole episode, the flashbacks included, seems to imply that humans in general can live with the demons, because there's multiple shots we get where people
there's
are just
adult
talking.
males.
Yeah,
I was wondering that for the longest time.
In the Crone flashbacks?
Yeah, there's an adult man in the Crone flashbacks talking to a demon.
Oh,
Yeah. There's
okay.
and that's the guy that she gets the pen from.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, there are like men who get to grow up. So what are the conditions? Like, how do they get to be?
Right. So last episode, we
breeders.
Right. That is, well, I mean, I think men would be the least necessary component, but I assume the demons could figure that out. But it's last episode we learned that the mom's Crone was a mom. So here's another comment I have. Last episode is a big exposition dump with confirming a lot what we thought about where was Isabella previously a person in a farm, and then when if you're like an upstanding student, you can graduate to be a mom. Last episode was a big exposition dump, and I think like the show's better when it's not exposition dumping us. I think like this episode benefits from us learning stuff last episode, because this episode doesn't like waste time catching us up on stuff. It just has interesting things happening.
Yeah.
So like last week's the setup, this week's the payoff. We were specifically referenced that there were adults that lived outside of the farms, but Crone didn't had never seen them. Crone herself had never been outside of the farms. Crone herself does not know how the world is like this. We learn all of that. Like I think the guy in the flashback, the one with the pen drop, that scene was very framed in a way which we didn't see what was happening really.
Yeah, we don't know. The guy just kind of looked like a scientist type deal, stereotypical scientist.
He could have been a doctor.
Well, yeah, sorry, doctor. Apologize. That's what I meant.
He could be like Norman's like answer to Norman, because Norman's very smart, and I think he had blonde hair, so.
So there's not really any basis for that, but I feel that they would do that though.
It was very like monochrome, the scene.
Yeah.
So
I do think like if any character was related to like the elders, it would be Norman actually, but so it kind of checks out. But Norman, interesting. We'll talk about Norman at the end. But
test tube babies.
I'm still on test tube babies.
I definitely think test tube. Yeah, but we see these people outside, so that's interesting. Anyway, so. Yeah, Grandma, I feel like Grandma, so if she was a mom, that means she was living on the farms, and she wouldn't have gone outside the farms, because presumably it works like Crone, and Crone was always on the farms. But maybe she's graduated and is now living along with the demons, like she referenced last week.
They did say they could turn off the chip. Like, they said they could.
Yeah. The other thing I guess it would be interesting to find out how old Grandma is, because in like a previous episode when they're doing the Minerva bit that never paid off, they talk about how like, okay, well, at least in the year 2015, like everything was still normal and there isn't any mention of like the demons or anything. And so
maybe
like,
she's from those times.
Yeah, so that's my guess, because we are assuming that it's the year like 45.
Yep.
And so like because if mom is 31,
let's do some math. She's 31. Yeah. So she was born the year before the demons took over or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Crone was born after the demons took over.
Yeah. So
but either way, Isabella and Crone never really lived on a planet that
Grandma did.
But Grandma did. That's a great point. Yeah.
Oh, that's I didn't think of that at all.
So if you reach a certain age threshold,
crazy brain pays off for
it's a very good point. So yeah, Grandma may have lived on Earth when humans controlled Earth before the demons came.
Yeah.
And she may have somehow proved herself worthy at some point in time to the demons in order for her to become a mother. Or maybe it was like she's never been in the situation to where like Crone and Isabella had. So maybe it's one of those things where it's like she doesn't necessarily understand, and therefore everyone's her pawn, kind of.
Right. She probably did not grow up on a farm, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, even though we know that moms grew up on farms, she's old enough. That was revealed last week. I did not think to do the math on that. 45. That's a great point.
Yeah, I did not think of that at all.
Like, that's probably the reason we learned Isabella's 31, because my main reaction to Isabella being 31 was, I didn't think she was 30. I thought she was older than that. But
she's probably Grandma might be the final boss of the whole series. She might be the main villain even after the demons.
Right. So how did she? So maybe Grandma is the original mom. Maybe the demons selected her when they came to Earth to be the original mom, and so she is one of the high-ranking humans on the Teferi. I don't even know what it is yet. They've mentioned it again this episode, but I assume it's some sort of council. But yeah, it's not really clear. Also, last episode, Crone mentioned him again, and we still do not know who him is.
Yeah,
I still think it's Lily Minerva. That's who I always assumed. So you guys might be overthinking
I would say
things.
him is probably a demon.
I'm
guessing.
You're right.
Interestingly, Dylan, I did a little research after last week, and I read that in the manga, when they said him, it was non-gendered. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
the manga.
Oh, like a Japanese word for non-gendered.
Interesting. It was weird. They referenced him non-gendered, and like the whole actual word that Crone says is like blacked out in the manga.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you can't really do that. You'd have to like bleep like in the audio.
Yeah, they bleeped it out in the manga, but I guess
cool.
they decided that wouldn't work in the show.
Yeah, I could see that. Position.
Yeah, it's very Japan has like gender neutral words. It's why we can have like very like characters who we don't know who gender is and get away with it, like in what was the one character?
Okay.
I forget. I can't think of the show.
I mean, we have they them, right? That as trying to get this accepted here, but it's okay. This is interesting. So hopefully, I want more on him soon. Or whoever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so then
maybe we will get more of him because I guess Norman's being shipped out to him.
So, okay, we'll get back to it in a second. Okay, so demons. Let's go through the flashbacks. So this giant demon's attacking Crone. With the flashbacks, we see her with the doll as a kid, getting the doll.
Yep.
We see her when she turns 12, going to see the demons for the first time, and she's revealed, and then she's given her choice, and she's wearing a baller top hat, by the way. And
her whole outfit was great.
That outfit was incredible.
Why is she dressed like that?
She's got like a cummerbund and everything, like in a bow tie. That's so
Did Grandma
cute.
decide this outfit? Did Grandma buy her this outfit?
I think Crone's hobby was fashion when she was.
She looks so innocent.
It was good. Yeah.
She in a way she looks like Jessica from Craig of the Creek.
She's I don't know. I made that the screen cap. But...
I'm just talking about how just her pure innocence.
Yeah, she looks. She does have like this red bow tie. Okay, it's pretty good. It's like a vest on. It's okay. She's okay. So we see that she sees the demons, and then we see her getting the surgery that we mentioned last week for the thing inserted in her chest, and then we see her with the scar, and then I think the rest of it is just at mom's school, basically.
School.
Where they learn karate. That's cool.
Yeah, they learned karate. That was great.
And cross-stitching. It's like this school was made for me. I'm just saying.
So you want to go to mom's school, April? That's what you're saying.
I do. Well, look, I'm already ahead of the game because I already kind of know how to cross-stitch. And I'm sure I could pick up on the martial arts training. So really the only thing I'm lacking is the smarts. But that's, you know what? If Crone was born no,
you got it.
A couple of years from now, I got this.
So April, what you're saying is when the demons come next year, you're willing to be the grandma here. You want to be okay.
I'll be grandma. It'll be good.
Wow.
But I don't think you need
April will sell us all out that quickly. Wow.
You're welcome, everybody.
If we inevitably do Promise Neverland D&D, I'll remember to put April in as the villain.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
It would be good. Okay.
But I don't know why you need martial arts training though to handle kids. You know,
so
you don't need karate. You can just
break their legs.
So you can break Emma's leg. Yeah,
I was gonna say you could just wring their necks, but that works too.
You don't want to kill the children because you still need to ship them out. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get to that. She says that. Yeah. She's we see her. She sees something. We mentioned this ambiguous scene with the pen being dropped, and then she retrieves this pen off of the ground. Also during this, it's a giant demon attacking her, and then grandma is with a different demon watching them. So there's two. Yeah.
Oh, she was. I guess I didn't realize
there's
that.
One shot of this
bodyguard demon.
I saw grandma watching the demon, but I guess I just thought it was the same demon that was attacking her. But I guess
it makes in the background. So
you know, it's male or female demon.
Female demon. I don't know.
I'm hoping we have some female demons and higher ups.
Demons. All demons have no gender, Steve.
They're
genderless.
Yeah, I mean they did talk with male voices before. But these demons do not talk.
Maybe,
but whenever
male presenting voices.
Yeah, they're all bleeped out. That's what they are.
What if they're bleeped out in the manga? Yeah. Okay. So what is this pen, and what did she see that she retrieved this pen? Like this is. I don't. What could a pen be? I've seen people like, does the pen break the tracking devices in the ear? Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. Like, do they have pens? Like, I think part of it was that like they wasn't when Isabel writes stuff, doesn't she use like a quill? Like it might just be like it's tech that they don't have in
tech.
Or maybe
maybe
it's one of those because I'm trying to think of this in like a way where, because you see Crone and she's like writing, but whenever in the classroom setting, but whenever we had seen Emma and Ray and Norman in the classroom setting, everything was very like digitized.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe like the pen is like a relic of the past kind of thing, and so she's just held on to it for all this time.
Maybe the pen's a laser pen. It's a weapon you can use and just shoot right in the eye.
It has to be something more than a pen. It has to have a significance to it. She's carrying this pen the whole time. It has to have some secrets on it.
She's giving some PowerPoint presentations with the laser
a decoder pen. This is a decoder pen, Dylan.
It's something important. The best theory I've seen is breaking the tracking devices. I don't know why it has to be a pen to do that, but
it's not actually a pen. Maybe it just looks like a pen.
I mean, that's what
it had a carbon fiber outside, meaning whatever's on the inside of there, they really want to protect it because I'm pretty sure they're not doing it for fashion.
It could be hiding a flat thumb drive or something in it that has some information. I don't know. But that's the pen. I want answers on the pen here. Is she still holding it, or No,
she left it in the drawer.
Well, we don't know that for sure. We saw a letter and a box, and we assume she left the pen in there.
No, the pen's in there, I promise.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. You're saying that you think it's there.
No, they show the pen in the drawer.
This was last episode?
Oh, this is this episode.
Okay, I'll go back and look for that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, April. I'm not attacking you.
I don't feel attacked.
April has announced herself as the villain here, Andy, so I don't think it's unwarranted. Okay.
better make nice. She's going to be our future.
Yeah, you should start sucking up to her. She's grandma, okay?
I'm grandma.
If we're nice, she'll let us live. I don't know. I don't think... we're not under 12. I don't think we have a chance here. But
look, man, I've got some strings I can pull.
Yeah,
clearly.
Maybe we can be on the Demon Council, the Teferi. I don't know. Okay, then she's stabbed by the flower. Call back to the first episode flower, and the flower blooms red with her blood.
I think
the
best part of the episode, really, the flower thing, because the show preps you for the demon to be like chomping her up, like eating her, actually.
Yeah.
Especially with the kids eating their food. Like, it's like, this is what's going to happen in Crone. Like, all the kids are eating their food, like eating sausages. And then it just stabs her with a flower. And it's kind of a subversion. Like, not really, but kind of a subversion. And it's really, really scary.
I think it's a subversion for sure. This demon is scaled, like, it's huge. And it's like,
so
really?
Big.
You're just going to lightly stab her with the flower? Like, wow.
It's crazy.
I didn't think we said the flower is the first episode, the flower growing out of Connie. I did not think that it was the murder weapon. I didn't think that's how it worked.
I thought it was just like a presentation piece. They were like,
it's a flourish. Yeah. No, I
like,
thought it was like
your meal is prepared. I've put this flower in it.
We thought our best guess was it was some preservation device for the body or something, but apparently
then they put her in the tube to preserve her.
And they put it in the tube too, though. Yeah. So we still don't really know what it is. We know it kills her, but why with the flower? Why does it need a killer with the flower? There must be some reason.
Maybe they just want to suck out all the blood. The blood makes it really not taste good.
Yeah, maybe it sucks the blood out. That's true. She does look very pale when you see her on the ground. Yeah, maybe it literally sucks all the blood out of her.
Maybe you just want to drink the blood. I don't know.
From the flower? Oh, yeah, maybe the flower is presented to him. Yeah, maybe it's the flower, not the body that they want. Okay, so interesting. We'll track the flowers down. I assume someone else will be dying. I assume someone else is dying, so we'll see a flower again. But we'll see. Okay, second half of this episode is, by the way, yeah, so rip to Sister Crone. I thought she was standout of the last few episodes. This is one of her best episodes, if not her best episode, and it's a pretty good finale for her, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
She's kind of the expected person to die first, so...
I don't know.
Really?
I mean, out of the major characters that could have died, she's the one that comes in later. Like, it's always the character that's not there from the beginning, and it's like the auxiliary villain, but not the real. Like,
of course, if it's a horror movie, of course she's also the first one to go because she's the African American one too.
Right? Plays into that type of trope. Not great to have the person of color. Yeah, person of color.
If they really wanted to go for the horror factor, then what they would have had is Isabella stab Emma with the flower right there in the open.
In the open.
Yeah.
No, I thought she killed Emma first.
Yeah, no.
I did too.
Same.
I
Yeah.
screamed.
I thought Emma was dead for like a few seconds.
She like snapped her like neck or back or something. That's what I thought.
Okay, well, so let's get to that. So the rest of the episode, they're implementing this plan for Ray to distract Isabella while Emma and Norman are investigating the wall. We have the scene with Ray and Isabella where Isabella, we start to see her being menacing. She's like, I eliminated Crone. And she's like bragging to Ray, like, or trying to like,
Right?
trying to like make him freaked out. Yeah. And the deal is off with Ray. And she knew he was a traitor.
Yep.
And she says she'll control everyone from just herself from here on out. And she locks him in the room. So already it's like, wow, okay, Isabella, we thought she was being tricked by Ray. We thought she, we thought she didn't know about what they're doing now. Nope, she seems like she has this all under control. She killed Crone, taken Ray out of the equation, and going to deal with the rest of them.
Yep.
Yeah, but here comes Dawn breaking Ray out.
Also, is this the point that Isabel says 5 people? Like she knows that there's 5 of them?
That's later on. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
that's
sorry.
later.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's also really interesting that whenever like Isabella reveals that, or I guess reveals, but she's like, I didn't need her anymore. I'm eliminating you. And she's having the whole conversation. At the end of it, she's like, I'm sorry, Ray. Like, please forgive me. Like, what? Like, why are you asking for forgiveness? You just ruined this kid's life. Like, and then she says goodbye to him, which is even more weird. Like,
I think it's just how warped she is.
It's the presentation of her is very interesting. Again, she seems to think it's important that she tells the kids that she does love them at the end, and she's trying to have some semblance of politeness to Ray in the scene. It continues her very interesting portrayal of contradictions. Like still a lot of contradictions with this character.
I think in her mind she doesn't think she's the bad guy.
Maybe we have some context. Maybe like we know she did grow up on, presumably because we knew Crone grew up on a farm. So she went through that. She went through all the school like Crone did. She might have been the one escaping with Grandma in the flashback that we saw earlier. Like there's, to get where she is, it's not like it's excusing what she's doing, but she went through a lot here. This is very abnormal circumstances that might contort someone to be this way.
I was going to say, if they can make me feel sympathetic for Crone after being horrified by her this entire season, then surely like something similar, something also horrifying has happened to Isabella to make her the way she is now.
Yeah, I think there's some more trauma we haven't even seen yet with her.
The fact though that Grandma called her a pawn, it does at least give you something for your vibe that she's a pawn to somebody. So
yeah, it's like we know that it's a good point that Isabella is not like the end all be all here, and in fact, how is she? The only reason she's benefiting, I feel like, by producing all this product is just staying alive. Like Grandma's really the one that gets to live in some semblance of normalcy, maybe among the demons, who knows? But it's not like things are great for her either. She's can't even leave the farm. She's the thing in her too, and she's just this is just the life that she can live.
Yeah.
What if like Isabella is actually the daughter to Grandma? Like
the actual daughter?
Really? Like her actual daughter?
Yeah, well, she could have had a kid, I guess, depending on how old she is before the demons did come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she said, whoops, she was born 1 year before the demons came. Oh, it's all coming together.
Grandma does like seem similar to Isabella, like in terms of hairstyle, in terms of the way she thinks. They seem to be on the same page.
I like this theory. The numbers check out on this theory.
Yeah.
The numbers check out. And the other thing too is like, why else would Grandma just let Crone, or not Crone, but let Isabella get away with all of this, unless like I guess like it's her numbers check out for themselves, but at the same time, like, why would she just let Isabella essentially do whatever she wants with the kids? You know, like, I guess, get them special treat. Like, if I was Grandma and someone was like, "Hey, I need a camera," I'd be like, "That's cool. No, I'm shipping you out. Bye. Like, let's go find your replacement."
Yeah, it's I like this theory. I think the show would do this. I think it explains why we said the ages before, why have the year in the title. I don't know, like, why Grandma connected to my. I think I could see this. I could see this.
You think also maybe Isabella was a spy for Grandma when she was a mom?
I guess she would be.
Yeah.
When she was.
If
yeah, I mean, if Isabel grew up on a farm, it would be pretty soon. It would be the first. Maybe she was on the first farm too, like right after the demons, because she was born right then, after they took over. Interesting.
That's how Grandma got promoted.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they conspired for Isabella helped Grandma out while to get Grandma promoted, and Isabella lived, and wow. It was a big conspiracy. Maybe Isabel and Grandma are the good guys, and they're slowly taking down the demons from within the system.
By poisoning them? What?
I don't know. We'll see. We know nothing. Okay, so then Isabella goes to confront Emma and Norman. And she says, "It's the first time in 10 years I'm talking to you without acting."
Whoa, drama.
She was so dramatic.
Very, very dramatic.
I love you, children.
Yeah,
I truly adore you.
And then she says, like, "Hi, Emma. Hi, Norman."
Right? She introduces herself like,
I loved that, yeah. She felt the need to say, introduce yourself again. It was so good. She wants them to stop resisting and be happy until they die, basically, is her argument. There's despair outside the house, and she wants the 5 of you to be happy. So she does know about Don and Gilda as well. So really, she knew everything the entire time.
We haven't heard English voice. I have a feeling, though, in my head, she sounds like she has to be British. Like,
I could see her being British in the yeah. So, Andy, what do you think of her knowing there's 5 of them?
I think this was like not surprising, but it was shocking. Like, this episode just wants us to know that Isabella is incredibly good at what she does, and it's very successful at that, and it doesn't surprise me that she knows that there's 5 of them involved, but it is really scary because essentially we've seen her do nothing for 7 episodes, and then all of a sudden she's just completely in control, apparently after doing almost nothing. She breaks one leg because they try to physically assault her, and that is it. Like, there's nothing else that she does. It's very scary and very I am scared for what's going to happen in the future because of this.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time, like, within the show being like, what does Mom know? How many does she know about? Like, 2, 3. And then so that, like, that's all in service of the subversion, I think. There. Like, she knows it's 5 after all. And I think it checks out. I think she could have known there's 5 the whole time.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get some more insight on what she was doing this whole time that we were downplaying her, but
no, I loved that we didn't though. I like it. We
get some flashbacks maybe, after the fact. I feel
like. But I think just like all of this just paid off so well with Isabella. Like, and that's something that like throughout this show, I loved how downplayed it was, and I was happy that we weren't really getting to know what was going on with her. And then for like this, it's almost like a huge reveal, and I loved it. It was great. I couldn't have asked for it to, like, I'm glad that, like, we sort of, like, put her on the back burner and let Crone be crazy so that we could get, like, this truly insane version of Isabella.
Yeah, I agree. I think in retrospect, the main purpose of Crone narratively, the reason you introduce another character is so that you can do this with Isabella. Like, I think Crone's entire character is just in service of this reveal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I 100%
Crone's the distraction.
Agree with
basically.
That. She was a distraction. Yeah. We don't need the distraction anymore, so we'll kill her off, and then.
Still 4 episodes left after.
Oh my god!
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's not like this is some second to last episode reveal. We still have some time to play with this.
That doesn't seem possible. Like, this feels like this should be the finale now.
This could have been the finale of the episode before the finale. No,
every episode feels like should be the finale.
Like, hopefully, I hope that's what we get from here. Isabel breaks Emma's leg. At first, I was like, "Oh, it's her ankle." It feels like it's somehow more menacing when it's like her upper lower leg, like it's like right below her knee.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty rough. How do you break that?
He's the worst.
Dylan, how did she do that? The bone is not like
is it tibia or something, right? Fibula. Like how does this?
Well, the way that it looks broken too is just super crazy.
Like, if you told me she broke the kneecap, like, that seems more likely than what she actually did.
Yeah.
She has a medical degree or something? Like, you gotta have to know something.
She was learning at mom's school.
Yeah.
Did you have a tool?
I don't know why, but it killed me whenever she just pulled out the wrapping bandage. I was like, she knew she was going to hurt someone.
She knew, yeah. She had, before she apologized to Ray about what she was about to do, too. So
I thought it was just going to be like her, like, I'm ruining your plan, sorry.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was
no.
break Emma's leg.
And then the part where she, like, said she was happy for hugging Emma. Like, that was...
Yeah, you haven't hugged me in such a long time. I was so happy. Like, oh, so happy you decided to break someone's leg. Like, I've never been that happy before in my life.
Yeah. So the reason she says this, she is to protect them no matter what, and she had to because it's basically my interpretation of what she's talking about here is they're like high quality products. She had to preserve the product, and that's why she's like breaking one part of her body while not, it's like she can't kill them, but she can't let them leave because this high quality product. So this is her solution, and she also emphasizes Emma can't move for a while now, and at the end she says Norman's shipment date has been set. Tomorrow is...
Well, okay, I was really confused
This is
by
very
that.
ambiguous.
Because
at first I was like, oh, it's tomorrow. Then I rewatched it, I'm like, is it not tomorrow, the shipment date?
I think it's tomorrow.
It's ahead of schedule, ahead of what she said it would originally.
They don't say the shipment date is tomorrow. They say, get ready for tomorrow, line break, Norman's shipment date has been set, right? So the implication is that it's tomorrow. But
the only reason why upon my first watch, here's my other thing. Is Emma being shipped too? Because when Isabella is talking to Emma, she says, you can now welcome tomorrow safely. Oh, and she's like, and congratulations, Emma. And then she's like, oh, and like, congratulations to you too, Norman. Your ship date's been set. And so at first watch, it seemed like just Norman was like being shipped out. But now it seems like Emma and Norman are both going. Mm.
Yeah, so
because she says congratulations to Emma.
It's very... Sometimes the show phrases things in ways in order to be dramatic, and it's a little bit frustrating. I believe that it is just Norman being shipped. Here's my interpretation of Isabella's actions and what she was saying. Her breaking Emma's leg is in service of preventing them from leaving, basically. Like, they cannot escape now. Emma cannot move, because she says that Emma can't move for a while. They cannot escape before Norman's shipment date tomorrow. And this is kind of checkmate, in breaking Emma's leg, because Isabella apparently knows everything. She must know that Norman's sole motivation is Emma, and Norman is not going to leave without Emma. And so by breaking Emma's leg, she's tying Norman back there too, and Norman's the one being shipped out, so Norman cannot leave before tomorrow as well. I think that's why she's emphasizing you can safely welcome tomorrow. You will not be leaving before Norman will be shipped out tomorrow. That's my read.
She's also going after their strengths, taking out their strength. Like Emma is like,
and Emma's the most physically,
So she took her
she's
strength,
the fastest one.
And you're gonna get rid of the brains. Norman's the brains. She's gonna get rid of the brains too.
And Ray's whole thing was being the traitor, and she took that away. Like, she literally picked apart every single
dismantled their group. Yeah,
it's terrifying.
Andy, do you think you do think it's tomorrow that they're?
I think it's tomorrow, but now that you've laid it out, I see that there is some.
What she said was, "You're welcome in tomorrow, Emma. Norman's shipment date has been set, right?" So I think it's tomorrow, but
I'm gonna act on it as if it is tomorrow. That's what
I'm gonna act as if it's tomorrow too, but because she also made it seem, and again, nothing is like confirmed, but she also made it seem like even with all of your planning, the ship date has been moved up, because I understand whenever she told Ray, like, oh, the ship date's later, I think that was a lie. And originally the plan was that the next ship date was in December. So, like, if you really want to dismantle, like, Norman and his, like, quick thinking and everything like that, like, not only do you take away, like, the fact that he's solely motivated by Emma, but you also take away, like, I guess the ability for him to plan things out. And
she took away his queen and his rook, essentially, by taking out Ray and Emma. Yep. Emma physically and Ray being the traitor. Like, she took away every one of his tools in one moment.
This does open the door for Don and Gil to do big-time heroes in this.
I mean, right, Don and Gil are kind of the only ones that can do stuff now. That's true. She seems to be under... If there's any weakness to this plan, she's not really... From what we've seen, she's not accounting for Don and Gilda, despite knowing about them.
That is true. Yeah. I feel like they're going to play a major role, because she did not do anything to dismantle their ability to do anything here.
But maybe she did by taking out Emma, Norman, and Ray. She
demoralized them, essentially.
Yeah, she demoralized them. Well, not even that, but I think she understands enough of their character to know that they're definitely not leaders in the way that Emma, Ray, and Norman are. And so she took away, like, the leaders of the pact, and so now it's just sheep, like, wandering in the field.
But I think she's underestimating them, though, because I think what we've seen in the show shows that Gilda and Dawn are completely capable of doing stuff without the three telling them to. like Gilda was able
we
to act.
saw them go to the room, right?
Yeah,
and,
we saw Gilda act in front of Crone with,
and we saw her act. That's true.
Yeah, like we saw that whole part with Dawn like crying and stuff out of that. Like they are completely willing to do stuff, and I think they will.
So yeah, I think in Isabella's mind, the three with the perfect scores are the threats.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. But before April brought up a good point, but now that we know that Isabella knew that Ray was the traitor, I do think we can assume that those scenes with her just talking to Ray, she was lying to him. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good point. So that's interesting. So we have to reevaluate all the Isabella stuff we learned before. Like maybe the shipment date was in place the entire time.
Yeah.
We knew in the first episode it was a certain 3 months, but then it could have been moved at any point and we wouldn't have known, I guess. But yeah, so Norman shipping out tomorrow. Norman has been on my death watch for a while now because he's the least expected to die in terms of he's the like male lead of the show. That's typically you kill the non-white males first. So it would be a subversion to kill him first.
The most obvious one would be Don, right?
Don, yeah, you could tell Don would be more obvious than Norman too. He's like the composed, smart one, main character type. He said he would sacrifice himself for Emma. Now it's a little obvious though because he has a ship date. So now I'm like, is it too obvious that Norman would die?
We speculated earlier that if it like push came to shove, Norman would probably like go ahead of Emma. Like he would volunteer to do that. And so it's almost like, I don't know, like I want to be super shocked. I'm shocked that like his ship date's now essentially, but I'm also not entirely shocked that we're going to get rid of Norman first out of the main three.
Yeah, I think Ray would be the expected one to kill, and Emma's would be really, really shocking, and that's a finale death, if anything. So if anyone's dying next episode, I feel like it's Norman. Ray could still die though, because we've exhausted the traitor plotline at this point, so we've used the narrative. He
serves no purpose anymore, except unless he's going to fulfill the new Norman role.
Right, he could be new Norman. I could see that, but I think the biggest thing is that it's happening now. .gif, right? It's happening. It's like things like. There's two main things that Norman's ship date is tomorrow. Next episode will be tomorrow. And second thing is that the veil has been lifted. Isabella, there's no more cat and mouse game with Isabella anymore. She revealed herself. Like the first 8 episodes of the show were this cat and mouse game with Isabella, and now we're past that. And I'm very excited now. Like the past few weeks, I've been I've been hyped for Promise, but not like that. Like it's there's nothing that's like too huge that was happening, but now it feels like we're in Endgame. Like this is like that things are really happening, and I'm doubt where Steve. Where are we in the manga relative to where it is now? 50%. We're not that far. Like less than 50%.
Oh no, the manga. This first arc. This arc is going to probably go up to chapter 37. We've just passed chapter 100. We're like early 100. So,
how many chapters are there right now?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go check. I think 102, perhaps.
We just passed 100 chapter. 100?
Well, no. Are you asking where the anime is in the manga?
Yeah, where are we right now?
This week chapters 125.
But where?
No. But like, where is the anime in relation to the manga?
Okay. Let me check. On that.
Steve did say we covered a lot of territory. Here,
you guys had me in here last minute too, so I didn't time to prepare. All right.
We'll see that. But the point being, it's possible this isn't really Endgame. It's just like we're moving to a new arc. But in terms of the anime, it feels like this is the end.
This feels like I said, Dylan, it feels like they've changed things for this media, and so like I think they may have adapted it so that there is just a bunch like this works as a long culmination. Instead of being like maybe more drawn out in the manga instead.
I hope it's not that we just end at a point in the manga. This is not the type of show that like we recently were very into Bloom Into You, and Bloom Into You kind of just stopped when it stopped at this date chapter, and it was like that was a good wrap up point to stop it. But it's not like it was like end of a huge arc that we were building towards. But Bloom Into You was not this plot heavy show like this is. Like this show needs to like actually culminate in a big ending here. It can't just stop when we exhaust the manga that we're gonna get to this season.
I think
okay, we're on this episode ends in the middle of chapter 25, and this
so we have plenty to go.
Yeah, and this arc
Wow.
ends in chapter 37. This season.
So we have 11 more.
Well, how do you know? How do we know that it's ending in chapter 30?
I think they said they're adapting the first arc when they revealed this season.
Okay.
So we're getting a second season?
There
we
could
don't
be
know.
like
Maybe.
seasons 2 and 3 and 4 based on where the manga is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unless
we're in our third big arc in the manga right now. This is the first big arc.
Okay. Unless maybe, I mean, I'm just speculating, but like, if we do see more seasons of the show, it's probably not going to follow the same characters, is my best guess.
Right.
Do you think it's more...
the fact that we're on arc 1, we're only doing arc 1 of arc 3. The first thing is like, okay, they're not going to kill off the main, but it could be like a Walking Dead situation where we're just rotating characters out. So I could see that, but.
Like, we finish up at this plant, and then we move into the next chapter of whatever this story,
it could
the
be
culmination of this story is going to be. So
maybe like this rebellion flames out, but it sparks a different one in a different plant or something.
Oh, I would really like that, honestly. Even if I would really hate to see them all die, that'd be really cool.
Or even if it's like one of those situations where one of our main characters like lives, and then when we get to the next arc, it's maybe like years in the future or something like that, and we're
just
a lot of people speculate when this came out that this was just a prologue to something else. So you're not far off, April, like in terms of what people thought of when these chapters were released originally.
This does feel like a prologue. That is a good way to put it.
It doesn't it feels like this story is going to be very contained within itself and then just play part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I remember similar Attack on Titan was very similar. Like it seemed like Levi was introduced very late. So
I'm just really worried about like what the show's going to be after the farm, because the farm seems so central to this story.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical of, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'm skeptical of some of these ideas, but I also of note, since we had mentioned the Truman Show theory, I think we're more into the Truman Show than ever because Crone never left the farms. I think we're Truman Showing to a certain extent.
I don't know if I mentioned Truman Show for you, Dylan, last week or not.
Good, thank you. I hope so. We need to say it every, but yeah, I mean, like there's some outside demon area to these contained farms and some scorched earth out there. That's what it feels like. So we could venture into the scorched earth in the second. Like it could be that we leave the farm here, then it's some combination of our main characters and they're out in the demon world, and that's the next arc, and then maybe arc 3 is like dismantling the demon system. Like you could keep it in terms of a linear story. So I don't think it's like locked in that it's some alternate thing.
No, yeah.
Hey, anyway, that was all. We're bringing outside information here, and maybe that influences some views. But I think the conclusion is it doesn't really help us know what's happening to these main characters because it could really be anything.
It really
what's happening.
Yeah.
So we will see. That's very exciting, though, that we've only exhausted a very small chunk of the manga. Of course, anime is
very promising.
Well, chapter 125.
Really, April.
Well,
promising.
Well, chapter 125 is coming out this weekend, so we're like 100 chapters behind.
100 chapters behind. That's
100 chapters.
Hopefully more seasons here.
Yeah.
I don't think April made that pun on purpose.
I don't think so either, Dylan, but I'm still upset about.
Okay, how have we not made promised puns? Yeah, that's true. Okay, there you go. That's it for this episode. Andy, final thoughts.
Oh, I had final. Can you come back to me? I had something I need to
April, final thoughts.
Yeah. Next 4 episodes, I'm ready. Like, I'm hyped. R.I.P. Crone. R.I.P. Emma's knee. Isabella, you're beautiful. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, Steve, final thoughts.
Oh, awesome. Oh, goodbye, Crone. It's been a fun ride. I'm ready to see more of what Isabella has in store, and also ready for Don to step up as the hero and Grandma to be our final boss in the final season.
I think Phil is going to step as the hero. Okay. Steve, I would say Phil is prime hero candidate.
Next season is about Phil.
Oh, Phil is the main character. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's Andy's nightmare.
Phil is
it wouldn't be unless you did this to me, Steve. It's all your fault.
Maybe that's why Steve is obsessed with Phil. Oh my gosh, it's all making sense.
Yeah,
now.
Steve knew Phil was the main character.
If Steve ends up being a real character, I'll be even more upset with Steve. I mean, if Phil ends up being a real character.
Steve is secretly a character as well.
Yeah, whatever.
Andy, final thoughts.
I think I don't need any final thoughts.
Okay. Phil, final thoughts. That's good. Yeah, very fun episode here. I think overall I'd rank it number 3 behind the two standouts I said before, but still, it's very very hype more than anything heading into the last 4 weeks of the season here. So
wait a minute. If we're doing D&D, I guess I gotta be. If I ever do D&D, I gotta be Phil.
You'll be Phil. Yeah, you'll be Phil. Okay.
You'll be Phil. April's the villain.
Joke's on you guys. I'm Phil as the villain.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow, twist. Phil wait, we knew Phil was a demon in disguise. We speculated that.
April's just practicing her evil laugh.
I know.
Wow, that was good. That was a pretty good evil. Okay, so that we'll be back for episode 9 at overlyanimated.com, overlyanimated.com/iTunes, and youtube.com/overlyanimated. Tell us what you thought of this episode in the comments. No spoilers at the website and at YouTube, and you can talk about it with us on our Discord at overlyanimated.com/discord, in our anime channel. Use the spoiler tags, I guess, if you're gonna get into specifics here, and support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Michael, aka Mickey, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers John and Steve, Alex, and Q. Check out other stuff at overlyanimated.com, including continued Genlock coverage. We have a Ruby D&D podcast tomorrow. That's where we're talking about D&D a bunch. And She-Ra.
She-Ra rocks.
Yeah, there's a She-Ra podcast. That's basically it. Find all that at overlyanimated.com. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.